Well, fuck. Well, I was trying to make the ranking of every Among Us video. I wanted to look at something, and unfortunately, the video, my phone that was recording turned off by itself, and the video stopped. Unfortunately, I was almost done finishing the list. I was just talking about episode 1, but my phone turned off, and the video just stopped after my phone turned off. So now I have to redo everything, but I don't want to do that all over again. So instead, I'm just gonna make a part 2 on just the top 5. So you already explained about episode 1. I only talked about a little bit about it, so let's just move on where I last stopped. So with the first episode, you have to make it a great episode. They do it well here, but there are blend characters like B-Day, Rose, and Sheriff that we never see them again. Yeah. Same goes with Angel, but she came back. So yeah. It was kind of neat for this. It's unfortunately not the most viewed episode of the series, unfortunately, even though the one that started it all. It's a fantastic episode, I gotta say. At least this doesn't drag on like any other episode you see. So I'm happy about it. And man, Stoner's ending right there caught me off guard after watching it. It kind of looks like Stoner's the villain, and so is Angel, but yeah. It's unfortunately there's not a lot of, locations to go through. And everyone just doesn't want to talk to player. Like, when player's trying to say, there's no one just wants to say what he's saying. And the ending, like I said, the ending is great. It's probably one of the best endings. But, yeah. So, the episode is a great to start the series off. Don't get me in mind. But, I have to say that the other episodes, the 4 others on here are much better. So, let's move on to those 4.
Yes, I won! I finally won! Oh, I can't wait to rub it in everyone's face! I'm finally a winner! I'm on top of the world!
Episode 8. I was not expecting this one to be so high on the list, but it somehow managed to do it. So, episode 8. This episode is about everyone's British actor. Why did I even say that? Mr. Egg. When he finally came back after a long, 2 videos of an absence that we didn't even get to see him. And the episode starts off with him playing a song on why he missed the gentleman and wish he could see him again. Well, he doesn't sing about that, but the song is kind of good. I kind of like it. It's somehow, I guess this kind of started the Among Us music, even though this episode came out before Among Us Logic 7. So, yeah. And I kind of like the part when Gentleman is actually watching on his computer, and this is not actually a real thing. This is a video that Mr. Egg actually made a YouTube channel. That's weird. And he puts a song for the Gentleman. I kind of like that. But of course, Mr. Cheese. When we see him back into the lobby, we see him pink. And of course, we do get seen with, of course, Mr. Egg and the Gentleman, of course. With Mr. Egg kind of being a little jerk because he thinks Mr. Cheese thinks that Gentleman will be his forever. And I kind of like the pink color with Mr. Egg. But there was one time that he was yellow in the musical. Mr. Egg versus Mr. Cheese. But we're not going to talk about that. I kind of like the group up with Player and Mr. Egg as imposters. Kind of reminding of when Player was with Mr. Cheese in episode 2. And no worry, we're gonna get to that episode very soon. So overall, I liked a lot of parts, but I think some parts kind of dragged on. Like, I guess the scene with Captain kind of dragged on, I guess. Not a lot, but they couldn't make it a little bit shorter, I think. Instead of make it a bit longer. I do like Mr. Cheese face when he like his reaction to what's going on, like he's mad at Mr. Egg thinking the gentleman will be his forever. And of course, this scene.
How dare you say my name?
Yeah, I will always like that scene when Mr. Cheese said that. But overall, it's a good video. It almost cracked up the top 3, but just barely missed it by the next episode on the list.
Yes, I won! I finally won! Oh, I can't wait to rub it in everyone's face! I'm finally a winner! I'm on top of the...
Number 3 is Among Us Logic 13. It was a close call between episode 8 and this one. It was a close call. But I picked episode 13 because some scenes did not drag on. Well, even though I think the scene with player not orange and blue and the asteroid kind of dragged on, but not biased. I'm not biased of that. It just I kind of did not like that scene. So in the episode, everyone is so mad about this new person named Not Orange because everyone's wooden. Well, their lives are wooden. With Mother not allowed to have kids, and Not Orange saying they're pets. And of course, we get this infamous scene that a lot of people said, hashtag stop abusing Mini Crewmate. Yeah, that is... Yeah, you're not allowed... Yeah, Orange is not allowed to do that, but... Man, that crossover lore. That one scene with Orange just spraying his kid got kind of controversial there. Yeah. The veteran had to switch to a green color, I guess, because Mr. Cheese had it the yellow color. Even though the episodes only focus on 6 characters, Mr. Cheese, Veteran, Mother, the new Not Orange, Blue, and Player, we'll also get some other characters that are also in there, like Mr. Egg and the 2 imposters, Captain and the Gentleman, and also don't forget the Poopy himself, Poopy Farts. The scene with the part with everyone car swiping between each other was kind of funny. I think everyone's just spamming the car swipe over and over and over. And the finale ended when player thought he finally won his first game. Then he gets sentenced to the chair lobby. Man, this episode was great. With all the funny stuff happening, everyone trying to get their revenge on a new character. And of course, the infamous hashtag stop abusing Mini Crewmates, which I see a lot of those, makes this episode great. All the characters do get their sign, but some don't. But it could have been the top 2. Speaking of the top 2, going by elimination orders, you could know what's the top 2 episodes.
Yes, I won! I finally won! Oh, I can't wait to rub it in everyone's face! I'm finally a winner! I'm on top of the world!
With only 2 episodes left, episode 2 and episode 5, it was a close call. But in my opinion, the runner-up is episode 2. I can't believe it. This is probably the best out of the original 5. Well, not really anymore, but it's the top 2 of the original 5 episodes. So this brought a lot of new characters, which being Bro, that I don't think is a bad character, but he's just bland. Goober, who never gets no sunlight. Mother, who is the only character that is new, is good. And Poopy Farts is, well, I don't get his jokes. It's just he's not a good character. And this is the first episode that Mr. Cheese himself get to shine. And of course, the first episode that we get to see the scout map. Where player had to be with Mr. Cheese. Player tries his best, of course. He has to go through a lot of obstacle course, trying to kill people. Even though in future episodes, when he's the imposter, he never kills. So this is the first time player actually kills people. The only time he does is episode 4. And that's it. He never killed no one else. Because distraction of Mr. Egg. Or just didn't want to kill the last person, being Gentleman and Mr. Cheese in episode 12. And that's player's fault for not killing both of them. Well, one of them at the end. And also, there was the episode that kind of bring back Ninja after he was gone for like... He didn't even get to play it at all in the first one. So, got to see him play, and this one was kind of, yeah. And it comes to show that he is the master of Among Us. Because he won the entire game. And with Bro, he got ejected before he killed someone, that means Ninja is a master at Among Us. I kind of like the part with Mother with her kids. And player will try his best to win. Is good, but there's one problem I have that did not make it number 1. The ending. The ending's kind of fucked up. Like Mr. Cheese comes out of nowhere and says he said, "Did we win?" And then he lost. Pretty unfair. And anyways, you can't really do that in the game. You can't. I don't even know how Mr. Cheese even survived. Even though he wasn't a ghost like the others. So that's kind of awkward. So if it wasn't for that ending of a fuck up, this episode could have been number 1. But going by elimination orders, we're talking about every episode from part 1 to part 2 that was even meant to be a part 2. You already know who's number 1 or which episode is number 1.
Yes, I won! I finally won! Oh, I can't wait to rub it in everyone's face! I'm finally a winner! I'm on top of the world!
Yeah, you kind of see this coming. Episode 5, of course, is number 1. Of course, why not is number 1? This is fantastic. Even though there are scenes that kind of are boring, like the metal part, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because I want to talk about the plot of this episode. So, during the scene with Gentleman, Veteran Player, and Mr. A talking, there was a weird thing with Player being mad at Mr. Egg for some reason. You get hype on why Player is getting mad. And this will be also the first and only time that there's 3 imposters. Since now we just go back to the usual 2 imposters after this episode. It's kind of sad, but we could have seen more 3 imposters instead of 2. You did not see what you just saw. Okay, just moving back. Moving on. Yeah. It's just, you get confused on why players just hate Mr. Egg. And I kind of like the part with Franklin, or one of his mother's kids, finally got to say a word. There was only one new character, and that's, of course, no one cares about Cub. The guy gets killed first. No one even mentioned him at all. And this is also the first time that we get to see Engineer and Gnome be in love. Yeah, kind of weird. And also, there would be the last episode, Stoner will appear until he comes back in episode 8. But yeah, a lot of stuff and a lot of crazy scenes. Especially the end of the episode. You know what? Instead of talking about it, I'm gonna show you the scene.
Anything to Player, but my name's not Player.
What? No, it can't be.
My name...
Mr. Cheese!
Yep, Mr. Cheese was disguised as Player the entire time. That's kind of shocking. that's the main reason why player was mad at Mr. Egg the entire episode. Because Mr. Egg wanted to be with the gentleman again. And player, once again, never wins. Well, I think that's it. That's every episode. It was kind of sad that this had to be a two-part because my phone decided to turn it all by itself when I was looking at something. But it doesn't matter. I know it kind of seems like stuff did not make sense. I know. But I tried. I haven't did this like for like 2 years. So I'm sorry. And I want to do this again. So my next video, my next top 10, well, not going to be top 10. It's actually going to be, it's going to be a top 10. My first top 10 in a while is going to be about Among Us Logic again. But this time is about the characters. So see you next time, and I'll see you in another Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade video with the bird. I'm not going to explain who it is. It's a bird.